what's your customer mix look like, and how much revenue your customers are bringing in. Is one customer bringing in, 70% of their revenue, which could be a risk. So it's really looking at the sort of outside the financial scheme a little bit, and the contracts. What type of contracts do you have in place? Do you know that this is going to be an ongoing business and you're going to have revenue coming in? Again, it depends on the type of business, whether it's a bookkeeping firm that may have contracts, or an accounting firm that may have contracts with customers, versus more of a retail space where you're a brick and mortar. You don't really have contracts. You have people coming in because that's where they go to buy their products or service.
Yep. No, I think you bring up a good point, right? Customer concentration can be huge for any business, right? But yet alone a business that has a small mix of clients, and you have one client that might be generating 50, 70% or more of the company's revenue. If that client is lost, it could be detrimental, right?
Yeah.
Is there in your mind, obviously 50, 70% of, customer concentration would be huge, but is there a general rule of thumb that's like, hey, if it's, 10% or less, or 20% or less, is that as much of a red flag, or is that like, kind of maybe pretty common to have a client that makes up 10 or 20% of a business?
I think that's a good question. I don't know if there's a rule of thumb. I would say if a client is generating, just off the top of my head, because I'm not digging into these numbers all the time, I would say if you have a client that's over 40%, then you got between 30 and 40%, then that's a big chunk of your revenue coming in.